So here we're going to begin to see some real Python. And we're going to start with a very simple statement called the print statement. Now, I don't know why they use the word print instead of display, because this isn't going to print anything. It's not going to send anything to your computer printer. But many programming languages still use the word print just to mean direct something to an output device. In this case, print, we're going to direct these words, hello world, exclamation point. That's a very traditional first programming for any computer language just about. And it just gets you started. Lets you try one line in a program, get it to run, and yay, you started running Python. And then of course we're going to build out a lot of complexity over the weeks from there. But let's talk about the idea. A print in this statement is called a function. Python has a set of built-in functions that do things. In this case, the print thing says take the text that's in between the parentheses here and display it on an output window. You'll see this in a minute. I'm going to run it. And actually, you notice there's double quotes here too. It's not going to print the double quotes. Those double quotes are just what they call delimiter of this text. And it helps well because there's a space between hello and world. So it helps it say everything between these double quotes is what I want to print, what I want to display on the screen. You'll see later that there's different ways to do this with instead of having the words literally put out there like that as a text, that you can have a variable, they call it, and the value of the variable will print instead. So I'll show you that in a moment, but let's just start with this basic stuff. So we've been here before in idle, hello world, PY, and I'm going to do run. So run the module, and you see, there it is, hello world. Okay, we got something that came out. That's good. So now let's go back. I'll close that. And now let's try something else. One thing I want to show you right off the bat is Python is extremely strict about how things are indented. You're going to see later we will indent things on purpose to do certain things, but it does the code differently depending on indentations. In some cases, it's just an outright error. So if I were to put another print statement here, and I put print, and if you put the function name and open and close parentheses, that's required for a function. And I put something in there, I'll just put in, I don't know, hi there. I'll put that. And I go to run it, let's see what happens. So I print hello world. Oops, I got to save it. So let's save it first. Okay, so I did. So it's hello world. And you notice it skipped a space and went down and showed hi there next. And that's the way it works. Anytime you see a print function on the output, it automatically skips a line. It advances one line after it runs by default. Okay, so, but let's see what, I want to show you what happens when I don't indent things properly. I go over here, let's close this, and I'm just going to take this print statement and indent it. Oops, I'm going to indent it a couple of spaces, a couple or three spaces. I'll save it again, save it. Now you think, well, that's a problem. That's not too confusing. Well, let's try to run it. I run it, and I get, whoa, unexpected indent. It says, you indented code, and you had no real good reason to do that. Python wants you to keep things all lined up on the left, at least in simple programs like this. Later on, we're going to learn ways to group programming statements together in functions that we write, and we'll follow certain rules for indenting with that. But for right now, just know, keep it all together. Otherwise, it won't work. So again, I can just go bring it back, and then I can run it again, and now it works just fine. All right, so let's go look at some other things we could do with a print statement. Now, you may not want to always print hello world, but maybe you want to print hello to a name. Let's make it to me. Why not? So I'm going to put in there, take out the word world. And actually, one thing I want to do, usually when I change something, I like to save it as a different file name. I'm going to do save as, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to override that one. And so I'm going to say, hello, Steve. Okay. Hello, Steve. Now I'll save it. I'm going to do a Control S out of view, and I saved it. So then I'll do run module, and it says, hello, Steve. Well, that's great. But every time I run this program, it's going to say, hello, Steve. even if it's not me who's running it. So it'd be good to have a way to prompt a user. That's what we call someone using your program. They're called users. It doesn't sound that great, but that statement is the way you refer to someone using your program. I've been doing it that way since the 1970s is the way they use that term. So get used to it. So a user, you need a way for a user to answer a question to get it into a variable name. So before I show you how to prompt them, I'm just going to show you how you can get a variable name to work in a print statement. So I'm just going to put the word first name here. Now, I just made that up. That's just me making up a variable name that is meaningful. I'm going to store a first name in here, and I'm going to just put the first name of Steve. All right. So I want to do that right off the bat. So I've put it in here, and now I want to get first name to print in the print statement or to show in the print statement instead of literally Steve. The way we do that is we take out the word Steve, okay, and after this bit of text, there we put a plus sign, and then we put the variable name called first name, okay. So we'll do that. And now save it again. Again, I could do it and I'll run it. And it still says hello, Steve. But notice what happened. It ran everything together. Put hello, Steve, put it all together. And that's not really what I wanted. What I wanted a space before Steve. So I just literally put a space in between these double quotes, hello, space, and I should be able to get that now. So I saved it, I run it again, and I get the space in there that makes it a lot more friendly. So let's go back to the thing I was telling you about is, well, not everybody's named Steve. So what could we put here instead of Steve, literally, that we could prompt the user to enter their name? So what we use now is we get the second Python function I'm going to introduce to you, and it's called input. And this will actually it'll wait for the user to enter something. Now I could just put this like that, and I've got a function, and it'll work. But there'll be no information to the user that says what to do about it. It'll just sit there and the program's waiting for information, but the user has no idea. So in between these parentheses, we put a little message there that tells them what we want them to enter. I'll put in enter your first name. Okay. And again, we close these strings down with quotes. And I like to put an extra space here because it makes it a little friendlier. You'll see here in a moment. So this is going to happen first. The user will be prompted with enter your first name. They'll type in the first name. The program waits for them, and then they hit the enter key. Then it'll take whatever value they entered, stick it in this variable name called first name, and then run this print statement. So it should say hello for whatever's entered. So let's go ahead and run that. I think I've saved it, run it. And now it says, enter your first name. So I'll put in Steve again. I hit enter. It says, hello, Steve. Cool. Well, let's run this again over here. I'll run it again. And I will say somebody else is using this program. So Bob comes along and he wants to try it. So he puts in his name and it says, hello, Bob. And it'll put whatever name the user enters and it'll display it. So just in this real simple little program to get started, you've seen two things. You've seen you can display things on this output window, the idle shell, it's called, by using a print statement. You can either display it literally or you can use a variable that gets converted. You see a plus sign like this and you start thinking, wait a minute, I'm not going to add first name to hello. It's when you are putting two text they're called strings in there. They call them text or text strings. When you're putting two things that are just strings, just a bit of text together, what it does is it appends them. It doesn't try to add anything, of course. So it'll do that. So you'll see this over and over again, this plus used for appending information, text, and sticks it all together. All right, so I think we're going to leave it at that before moving on to the next lesson where we'll cover some more about Python.